You didn't press play because you were curious. You pressed play because something inside you feels unbearably heavy, and you don't know how to explain it anymore. You've been strong for so long that even you forgot what it feels like to rest. You smile when you should scream. You stay silent when your soul is tired of carrying secrets. And lately, you've been asking a dangerous question in the quiet moments. Why does life feel harder for me than for everyone else? Listen carefully. This isn't because you're weak. It's because you were chosen. If this message found you, God is breaking cycles through you that your family never could, and the weight you feel is proof that something ancient is coming to an end. From the very beginning, you sensed you were different. Not better, not worse, just different. You noticed things others ignored. You felt emotions others buried. You questioned behaviors everyone else excused. Even as a child, you carried awareness that didn't match your age. You learned early how to read rooms, how to adapt, how to survive emotionally, without being taught how to feel safe. And no one ever told you why. They just expected you to be strong. What you didn't know back then was that families carry invisible patterns. Emotional wounds passed down like heirlooms. Silence taught as maturity, anger justified as authority, love withheld as discipline, trauma normalized because that's just how we are. These cycles don't announce themselves. They repeat quietly, generation after generation, until someone feels the pain deeply enough to stop it. That person is you. You weren't born into ease because ease would have allowed you to stay asleep. You were born into awareness because awareness is the enemy of cycles. God allowed you to feel what others survived by numbing, that sensitivity you were criticized for. It wasn't a flaw, it was discernment. The discomfort you felt in familiar spaces, that was your spirit refusing to call dysfunction normal. That's why you've always felt like you don't fully belong, even among people who love you. Cycle breakers never feel at home inside cycles. Their spirit knows something must change, even when their mouth doesn't yet have the words. And because of that, your life feels heavier. You are not just dealing with your own pain. You are standing at the intersection of generations. You are confronting wounds your parents never healed, emotions they never learned to name, patterns they were taught to tolerate. You are trying to become healthy in an environment that learned how to survive, not how to transform. That's why this journey feels lonely. Healing always isolates before it liberates. When you began to grow, things shifted. Tension rose. Conversations changed. You were misunderstood, labeled distant, accused of being difficult, ungrateful, or rebellious. But what they didn't realize is that your healing exposed what silence protected. When you stop participating in dysfunction, those who benefit from it feel threatened. Still, you stayed. You stayed when it would have been easier to repeat the pattern. You stayed when bitterness tried to harden your heart. You stayed when walking away felt like the only way to breathe. That alone reveals the strength God placed inside you. There are nights you replay conversations in your mind, wondering if you're the problem, wondering if you're too emotional, too sensitive, too intense. But listen closely. You are not too much. You are carrying too much, and God never intended for you to carry it forever. You are the interruption. You are the pause in the bloodline. You are the moment where heaven said, enough. That's why the pressure feels constant. That's why growth feels painful. That's why comfort feels delayed. God is not punishing you. He is refining you. Gold isn't purified gently. And what God is building through you requires honesty, separation, and endurance. Sometimes He had to pull you away from familiar spaces not to reject you, but to protect what was growing inside you. Sometimes distance wasn't abandonment, it was preservation. You are learning things no one taught you. How to set boundaries without guilt. How to love without self-betrayal. How to forgive without allowing harm. How to walk away without hatred. These lessons cost tears. They cost loneliness. They cost seasons where no one claps for your obedience. But they are building a peace your family line has never known. And even when no one acknowledges it, even when you receive no apology, no gratitude, no recognition, your obedience is still working. Heaven is recording what people overlook. Your healing is changing atmospheres you cannot yet see. Futures you will never meet are being rewritten because you chose to feel instead of flee. Children not yet born will breathe easier because you broke patterns quietly. Relationships not yet formed will feel safer because you refused to normalize pain. Generations will walk lighter because you carried the weight first. Right now it feels unfair. It feels like you were chosen for the hardest role with the least support. But God never assigns light work to strong souls. He assigns necessary work. If you feel exhausted, it's because transformation drains before it restores. If you feel emotional, it's because buried things are rising. If you feel like you're falling apart, you're not. You're shedding what was never yours to carry. Do not rush this season. Do not numb it. Do not retreat into what God already delivered you from. Familiarity is not safety. Peace is. One day, chaos will no longer feel normal to you. One day, love will not feel conditional. One day, silence will not feel heavy. And when that day comes, your life will quietly testify that cycles can be broken, not through anger, not through revenge, but through courage, obedience, and healing. This is not your breaking point. This is your turning point. The cycle ends with you, and what begins through you will outlive the pain that shaped you. Subscribe this Faith Revealed for more videos on faith.